Hello and welcome to Chapter 142 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me this week is Mountain Dew. How you doing, Dew?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Sorry, my mistake. Mountain Dew Baja Blast. How are you doing this evening, Mountain Dew Baja Blast? And a happy
Getting all
Halloween
shook
to
up.
you.
Happy Halloween. All shook up. Ah.
A second costume. Joe's
Look at
making
that.
up for myself here with the double costumes. And the mouth even opens
I
up.
got look.
That's fantastic.
When I commit.
Very little. Bravo, sir! That was fantastic. YouTube people here listening on the podcast. Joe is dressed up for the Halloween occasion. Happy Halloween to all
Happy
our listeners.
Halloween.
I hope it's filled with candy, or if your kids got candy, I hope that you ended up snatching a lot of that. We'll say. Let's just keep it that way. Joe, how you doing today?
Tired, hot. Like I've been wearing a costume all day long. It's weird. I mean, I could take it off, but why would I want to do that?
No reason at all.
Nope.
You're not warm. You're just.
How are you?
I'm well, Joe. I'm well. I didn't get a chance to dress up today. It sucks. Did give out a bit of candy. That was nice. Some of it's still left over. I'll be looking forward to getting to that after the episode. I'll get into a little bit of that before I go to sleep. Give me a bad stomach for them into the morning. As a normal adult 34-year-old man would do. Besides that, school's going well, and we got some pretty crazy news. Obviously, the day after we recorded our most recent episode.
Go figure.
I was excited for the news we got beforehand, but this was a total out of left field shocker, and I can't wait to get into that. Of course.
All right, why don't you go ahead and do the intro so I can take the stuff off?
Yeah, I'll do the intro. I'll do the network plugs to get this out of the way. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 8 shows in total. On Mondays is Ranger Alliance, and that rotates bi-weekly with Slice of Film. On Tuesdays is DC Alliance. On Wednesdays is Superhero Discussions. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturday, bi-weekly, is a walk through the multiverse. And Sundays, monthly, is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance, Marvel Alliance, and Star Wars Alliance all go live on the Geekverse YouTube channel. DC Alliance goes live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All 3 of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content. But if you want all 8 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is basically a tip jar. You like what we're doing and you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Joe, we got together for our first GUA crossover event yesterday. That was quite fun. We had you, myself, Clay, and Chris on there.
And Brent showed up a little late.
And Brent showed up a little later. It was good. We touched, I think, almost everything. We Star Wars, Marvel, DC. It was good stuff. And you and myself hung back for the DC discussion, just like Brent and Chris hung back a little bit for the Marvel discussion.
Yep.
It was good all around. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more of those in the future. I'm also looking forward to the patrons because it's a Patreon, not a Patreon exclusive, but it's a show where Patreon members could call in and even get
Join
on
us.
And chat with us. Yeah. Like I'm looking forward to that coming in the future.
Same. It's just this was the first time we had the show, so obviously if we do these more frequently at the same time, then patrons can put aside that time and join us. It'll be great.
Yeah, I think once we figure out we narrow down a time, we'll be able to get something going there.
We also have the Marvel Alliance guys doing their MCU rewatch. We can watch this all day. We have Joe and myself doing the DC films through the years. We have Clay doing his For the Watches for the first time. He's doing Game of Thrones right now. We have Katie doing Star Wars comics with her husband, and we have Joe's Multiverse Minutes, which has been transformed in October to the Halloween extravaganza.
Yeah,
I adjusted. I didn't say horror this time. So I said Halloween extravaganza, and it was topped off this last day with a fantastic Charlie Brown, the Great Pumpkin.
It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I figured that was the best one to end with for this first go around, because that's a classic that everybody loves.
Props to you for getting through that. 31 days,
37 days.
Yeah, 37
days total.
Yeah,
yeah. No, it was a lot of fun because a lot of those movies I'd never seen. Yeah. And then there was a ton that I've seen numerous times, a few guilty pleasures, and a few surprises. I talked about it throughout the month, but in this last episode, I gave a couple of quick hits of what I liked, didn't like, and from there. So yeah, maybe we'll probably definitely have to do it again next year.
I know you joked about Christmas as well, and if you do venture into the Christmas one, I think I might have to join you for one or two, depending on what those titles are. There's a few Christmas movies that I love.
I have to sit down this next week and really buckle down to decide if I want to do Christmas. I might. I really might, because that will give me December. That will give me another 25 days of episodes. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yes, it was very enjoyable to go on that ride with you, Joe. So I thank you for that. And yeah, patrons, we thank you so much for that. If you can't be a patron, if you can take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, it'd be greatly appreciated. We can't thank you enough for that. Joe, that's everything. We have a pretty big show tonight because we missed because our show's on Mondays. We missed the news that dropped on Tuesday, and
the big news.
And I don't think we should wait at all to get into this because it is 6 days old now. Yeah. And Derpy 501 in the chat is already talking about James Gunn as well. Fellas, I could be page upon page of what James Gunn should do. A lot of people are like that. They're getting really excited. Derpy, we will talk about what we think maybe could be coming down the line pretty soon right now. But like we just teased, we had some big news on Tuesday, Joe. James Gunn and Peter Safran are running DC Studios.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
I'll say
came out of left field.
I mean, did we get a date of when they're starting, or did they like
November 1st is their first day.
Okay.
Their first day. They're signed to what I read today was potentially between $7 to $8 million annually in their contract, depending on if they hit their incentives and bonuses. What a little bit of what's reported here is Gunn will focus on the creative side of things, while Safran will focus on the business side of things, business and productive side of things. Both are expected to continue direct and produce projects respectively. They will report directly to Zaslav and work closely with Warner film bosses DeLuca and Pamela Abdi. Sources say the deal runs for 4 years, and Gunn will be exclusive to DC. The goal is for them to not just be producers, but truly function as executives, even as Gunn will occasionally direct a movie. This is pretty crazy, Joe.
The exclusive to 4 years thing is I question, only because he's got the Guardians 3 coming out. Like he's that movie is, I don't think they're done filming that yet. I think they just started filming it within the last 6 months or something, right?
What film?
Guardians 3?
No, that's done. That's in the can. That's coming out. That's coming out in March.
That's coming out March already?
Yeah, that's why.
Jiminy Christmas. I am so off on my dates on this thing. Okay.
Yeah, Kevin Feige said he's excited to see what James Gunn's going to do, but first he has a lot of stuff to do for Marvel up until April because of all the press that he has to do as well. I think April could be May, but yeah,
I've been under a rock apparently on that production. Which
is going to be wild. He's going to be going through press. Yeah, doing all those things for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie as the DC Studios co-head.
He'll handle.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. What a world we live in. It's super cool, Joe.
Yeah.
Apparently, after they recommended Dan Lin, and then when talks broke down with him, they slid in to do this. And Safran, this is probably the best of both worlds. We talked about this before on the show that you can't find another Kevin Feige because he had about 18 years to work as a producer on films,
before he even touched Marvel.
Before he even went into the MCU. So he had that experience as a producer, and it's not a joke to say he loves the source material. Hugh Jackman was saying on X-Men 2000, he's running around with comics showing, like in the X-Men movie from the first one.
He knew what he was talking about way back when. So Feige was a great find, and Marvel was smart to pick him up.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of Safran's work, but Gunn is another one of those that
You'll know some of
stuff.
it.
Well, I probably do. I just don't know.
I'll bring it up for you right now because
Okay.
he has had a lot to do with the Conjuring universe for James Gunn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you mean James Wan, not Gunn?
James Wan, sorry.
Yeah.
I think he's been involved in all of the Conjuring.
I was thinking Wan only did the first two. Somebody else did the third one, and did Wan do Annabelle? I don't remember.
Here's Saffron. Here we go. Yeah. So he's done a few big films. He's done some DC films as well. I'll just go back a little bit here. So he was producer on The Conjuring. He was a producer on Anna. Was producer on Annabelle.
Gotcha. Okay.
Was a producer on Conjuring 2. I'm just trying to think if there's some other ones here, but actually he's honing his craft here at building Conjuring universe. Annabelle Creations is another one. Then he moved away from that and did the Aquaman. He was producer for that, which is DC's $1 billion.
Yeah.
And then he went to Shazam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's been around.
And then he did the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Done. And then he's also a producer credits on Shazam: Fury of the Gods and Aquaman 2.
Okay.
So he knows how to navigate his way through the like production, the budgets, that stuff. So James Gunn doesn't have to worry about that, and he can just focus on the creative side of things, meeting with directors, helping directors out if they need any help. I think this is the best of both worlds here. There's some posts in the chat here.
Yeah, Derby's has his plan laid out, which is
which is
interesting at best, my dudes.
Yeah, we don't want a carbon copy of Marvel. I just want a like cohesive plan.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Having the phases like Marvel has is perfect.
Yes,
but we talked about it in the GUA big chat we did. I don't think they should until Gunn or Safran says this is phase one. I'm not saying this is phase one. Rock can say it's phase one for DC movies for as long as he wants. I'm not calling it that until one of the actual heads says it. I'm not. No.
I'm sorry, I wasn't reacting at what you said. I just read Derpy's final comment there, which is Warner Brothers should cancel anything to the Batman universe and Joker's solo universe and save money and hire those directors as writers. Joker made $1 billion, Derpy. They're not going to not make a sequel for that. And Batman made $700 million, over $700 million, I'm pretty sure. So you're not going to, especially with what Black Adam pulled in, we'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. They're not going to do that. This is exciting. On the game says Gunn needs to prioritize making sure Wonder Woman 3 isn't a repeat of Wonder Woman 84. Needs a writer and stunt team of the first movie, who Patty got rid of for Wonder Woman 84. I could not agree more about that on the game. I really hope Wonder Woman 3 is fantastic, and I hope it goes back to some of the elements of the first Wonder Woman and less of the camp of the second one.
Well, the problem is they're going to pull it into modern times because you've already done World War I, you've done the 80s. Like the next step is now.
I don't want to tell Patty how to do her job or anything, but you have a perfect segue at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League where she's staring out because she doesn't remember how to get back to her island. She has the arrow there. There could be some sort of thing happening on the island that she has to get back to help. That could be like you could go really lean into the Greek mythology there. Would be nice for me.
But that's also admitting that they are putting Zack Snyder's Justice League in the universe.
Yeah. Well, not even that. You could even go without her. No, you could even do her with the Justice League theatrical cut of her not knowing how to get back to her mother because her mother's not in that. Like her and her mother together aren't in that at all.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Now I was just going to point out that Aquaman is a direct, leaves from Snyder's Justice League into Aquaman, like it's a direct lead in.
Well, he's in the same truck. I think he's in the same truck.
He's in the same truck and in the same like pose that he was in when he left. It's a direct 1-to-1. But I'm not saying they can't do it.
So, Joe, what
Just
do you
saying.
think this meal means for DC films? Are we going to get more? Do you think it's going to be more stability?
I think so. They need to get through these next four. Was it four?
Yeah,
Um,
Aquaman,
Aquaman,
Shazam,
Shazam, Blue Beetle, and
Flash, and
Flash.
Blue
Yeah.
Beetle.
So these next four. I mean, I know they can't get through them and then see where the things landed. They have to start planning, and we've already heard rumblings,
That's fine as well,
and that's totally
Durfee.
fair.
Yeah,
No, like
we're not
we're not
that or
trying to
bust.
say,
We're
yeah,
not that or bust as well. The Suicide Squad cracked my top 5 of DC films. So yeah, it's not a all or nothing game here.
yeah,
Uh,
like we're
yeah,
not trying to say, oh, it's Snyder. We're one of the Snyder guys. If you don't
no,
like the Snyderverse,
we're
we hate
really
you.
excited.
No,
Like,
like I want connectivity. I
yeah,
want everything to be connected because that's what DC, not only the movies but the comics, has been saying for the last 5 years.
we also have some great obscure characters, which is what I'm excited about with Gunn, Joe. Like, if you
Yes,
watch the animated stuff, Derpy, I will say go out and watch some of the direct-to-video DC animated. I will say
dude,
Justice
so
League
great.
Dark, for example. Dead Man is in that. Gunn tweeted today, "Happy Halloween," and a picture of Dead Man. Obviously, people are going to be like, "Dead Man's the next film." No,
Well, did you see? I mean,
I could
I would
see.
love Dead Man to be in there. That'd be
Yes, I
great.
could see those kind of characters getting like those show. Because you can do a cheaper version of that. You don't have to have this big CGI spectacle with Dead Man of him in when he. Because most of it is him possessing other people's bodies, so that is
Mhm.
not a CGI thing. You just have people acting different way than what they do just before he goes in there. So I
Well, I
don't think
mean,
that would be a
Dead Man.
CG
No,
heavy
but Dead
spectacle.
Man works great when he's with other magicians or other sorcerers, like Constantine or Zatanna. Like that's where Dead Man, I mean, yes, he can, personally I think he can stand on his own, but when he is playing off against other people, uh, for example, the which one was it? The Constantine um
Justice League Dark.
was just like
Yeah.
Dark movie when Batman's there and like there's dead man hopping in bodies left and right. Like it's perfect. It's great.
I think
I,
he could work in like a Peacemaker episode as well, where he ends up inhabiting Vigilante's body, and they have to go help him like figure out this thing before he'll let him go. I think,
that'd be
and
fun.
with Gunn now, I think those possibilities are. Look what he did with the finale, and if he had his way, they all would have been faced. They wouldn't be some of them. Two of them would have been faceless, or three. You would have had the full Justice League.
Yeah,
Absolutely, just to tie in that this is an extended, like this is part of the universe. They say that it's
but
going to be DCU now, but they're just going on what Zaslav says. So I want people to like hold the brakes. It still could be
grain of
DCEU
salt, all that. Yeah,
because I know at one time it was rumored to be like Worlds of DC. That never happened back
that's
with the
stupid.
old regime. Yeah, that was stupid. That was a thing.
No, I'm looking forward to what they got coming. I would say after I know Flash is the big one, Flash, and that's the one that is like the make or break. But if Blue Beetle does well, which I think it will, that's going to give them the green light to pick some more obscure characters, to go with a Dead Man, to go with a JSA movie,
Yeah,
to do all of these characters that people don't really know of.
on the
Definitely,
game saying that the HBO John Stewart Green Lantern show should be a movie.
it should be.
We're in agreement on that. On that, we should have got the little shot of John Stewart a couple of years ago
Well,
or last year, but because they didn't do anything with him, we'll talk with the rumors a little bit later on the game in our DC news roundup because there is a story there. I'm
we
excited
got
about.
we got Derpy here. You want me to send what they should do phase one? Because we have 4 years of Gunn under contract. Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Justice League. I would literally break down these films, what they should do. Yeah, and that was the plan. Oops, sorry.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry.
That was the plan from the get go. But then WB pulled the rug out of what was happening.
Yeah,
And it's not one of those things where
didn't start over. It didn't start over.
no, they should have. If they were going to change everything like they did, yeah, they should have just started over. But they couldn't because Aquaman was in motion, Wonder Woman was in motion, Flash, while it was in motion, obviously didn't happen for another 10 years,
Yeah,
7 years. But yeah, I agree. Like if they do need to have setup movies before they do
a
a
big
team up,
movie.
like they should
And
have.
And with only 4 years for the contract, I don't know if you'll even get to that team up until
But
they
that's what.
renew,
But
which
that's what that's what Zack Snyder stuff was. It
yeah,
was Man of Steel, then BVS, and that had to change because what WB said, and then Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and then Justice League. That was all within 4 or 5 years. Like it
that's
wasn't
true. That's true. Sorry.
like
So
it
yeah,
was
you're
already set in motion, but the old regime just said no. We need to be like Marvel. Like
yeah.
we need to keep doing Marvel's making all the money. We need to do what they're doing, and that's why it failed.
I think too with Gunn, this is going to go a long way, and Saffron to get more credibility at post Batgirl because if you're a director after what they did with Batgirl, you would be a little bit hesitant to take on a DC film because
Correct.
that was filmed in the can and you're in post production doing your editing work, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not putting this out now. Sorry, see you later. Thanks for playing." So with this, you have a director now in charge of creative.
So he
Who,
knows what's going on. He knows
yes,
how to get these films out there. He may not. He may be picking random characters, but look at Peacemaker. Like Peacemaker was a joke in Suicide Squad,
yeah,
and then he was like one of the best shows ever. One of the best characters that came out of that movie
and the
on
stuff
HBO
in the
Max.
movie was even more impactful when you go back after if you consume the show, then you go back and watch the movie. The stuff
Exactly.
is even
Like
more
it's.
impactful because you're like, damn, I know of his messed up past now
Mm-hmm.
because of the show. And
Like
I love
I
that
have
show. I love
confidence.
shows telling you like all the
Correct.
MCU phase 4. That is, I love that you watch movies that you're rewarded with watching these movies by
Mm-hmm.
these shows as well. But you can also get into these shows without having the background of the movie. You could do that with the Peacemaker. There was
Yeah.
no point of entry of it would have helped, but all these characters were explained. You would have got along with those characters.
Well, and they do show they have some flashbacks in the show to the movie.
Yeah,
So, regardless, I've got confidence in both Gunn and Saffron with what they're doing going forward.
yeah.
Like this is a great move, and it's gonna be gangbusters for DC in the future, coming in the coming years.
And I want to say this is one I'm calling now. I think before the end of this week, we're getting a Superman movie announced. I
You
think
think
it's a
for
little.
I
I think it's.
it
I
might
think
be a
it's.
little
I think
early.
it's further ahead than I'm just calling it. I could be wrong.
Well, with
I'll give. I'll
okay,
get.
so
I'll
with
get on. I'll get on next week and admit I was wrong if we don't get one in this week. But I
I
think that
you
that'll be their
you're
first announcement with they're going into business. They're starting their jobs tomorrow. I think that Superman film is going to be announced. I think it's already been in the works. I think that it's going to start filming sooner than rather than later. And I think that's part of the reason why he dropped The Witcher because you can't film both concurrently. And I know they want to start filming Witcher like pretty soon. They
soon.
want to start filming season 4, but you wouldn't announce Liam Hemsworth as the new replacement until you started filming, or you're going to get ready to start filming because
Yeah.
you could hide it until the end. And there's another season 3 coming out with Cavill, so why confuse any of the audience? So I really think that that's gonna.
I can't say you're wrong. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I don't know if it's gonna be announced this week.
Yeah, I could be
I
wrong. I
would
could be
think it
wrong, but
honestly, and I'm not saying they're gonna try to do it. They will do it before Black Panther hits. I will say that
ooh, okay. I like that, Joe. I
because
like
they're
that.
not gonna. They don't want. I don't think they're gonna try and take away any thunder from Black Panther. Especially Gunn. He knows what's going on with that movie. Everybody knows what's going on with that film.
Well, he
They want
already
to
said
respect
to
it.
Joe that it's not a DC versus Marvel.
Correct.
Like, and
So
he said they're both trying to just get the theatrical experience back up and running, so
So
they have a
honestly, so
responsibility. So,
by that saying, they could do it by the end of the week, but I could definitely see him doing it, announcing it Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Derpy, send me your break because we're going to keep going with the show now. Send me your breakdowns of what you think they should do for phase 1. You have my Twitter handles there at Travis_156. Just send me a DM. I'd be really interested to see what you
Ooh, that
think
could
they
be a
should do.
fun. That could be
Yeah,
some fun
because
discussions for next week.
yeah, definitely. We might even talk about it next week. So yeah, send me those DMs or send us Twitter. Send them to the show Twitter at DC Alliance, and we'll definitely talk with them. I'm super interested. We
Yeah,
just read that blurb. I got the
definitely. Yes,
definitely,
please
please.
send it to us. We will definitely break it down, and we can talk about it.
Yeah. So, Joe, yeah, I'm super excited about that. That's great news. I think that the possibility for Cavill sooner rather than later, but I also think there's going to be more Harley Quinn to come as well because he did put her into the statement of like we're really excited to shepherd these character. I think that there's a chance of the Ayer cut as well because Gunn has been okay with that.
I'm not holding my breath.
No,
Would I
I'm
love
not.
to see it? Yes.
I
I'm
think
not
there's
holding my
better
breath.
chance than if anybody else being announced.
Yes.
I think that
Yes.
this, like, just because of how close Gunn is with Air, you may get that down the line as even a special feature.
I mean,
on
look,
another.
if it comes out, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I'll get the steel case. I'll add it to my shelf.
Speaking of which,
Black Panther. Wakanda Forever.
Finally got its France release, and we're going to talk about
Yay.
releases in a little tiny bit. We're going to take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we're going to get into this, and on the game, talking about a France release is going to get me into our China discussion with Black Adam after we talk about Black Adam's opening box office for the actuals came in today, slightly higher overseas, slightly lower in the US. Made 27.5 domestically for number one for the US, down 58.9% last weekend for 111 million cumulative in domestic, and overseas it grossed 39.3 million. Dropping just 48.2% for a 139.3 million cumulative total. So it's 250.3 million global for box office. This is from Luis Fernando, and there was a tweet out there just for keeping track. Shazam topped out at 366 million global, 140 domestic, 225 international in 2019 with a budget of $100 million less than Black Adam.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll hit that number. It seems to be like the steam of it seems to be slowing down, but this is also still post-COVID. Shazam came out pre-COVID, and we have seen nothing but that second weekend for all these movies drop dramatically.
Spider-Man.
Well,
that was an experience.
That's a different monster. Yeah,
that was an experience. That gave so many people on this island COVID.
Dude, I saw that thing five times in theater in a week.
It was the first time theaters were open up.
Like,
it was the first time theaters were open up for we didn't have social distancing. Like you couldn't have seats. Anyone.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and then it was crazy. It was like chaos there.
Yeah, no, I by the fourth time I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then I think my family wanted to go see it for Christmas. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll go see it a fifth time in theaters.
These aren't great numbers, Joe, especially with a roughly $200 million budget, 205, 210.
I thought it was 190 to 200.
200, something like that.
It was around 200.
Yeah.
It's not great, but I could definitely see it hitting 3 million or 300 million.
Oh yeah, I think that's a given. 300 million.
I don't think it's going to get 366 like Shazam.
I think the only chance it has is a China release, but I also don't think it can release in China right now. They're doing crazy lockdowns. There's people that are in the Disney World in China, and they're stuck there. They're not allowed to go out at all. Yeah. So there's lockdowns, like harsh lockdowns in place in China right now. So I don't know. I may be holding it a bit longer, maybe closer towards Christmas in China. You might get a better chance to make some money, but you have Black Panther. I don't know if Black Panther's going to air over there or not. I'm not sure. But I mean, Shazam made almost 40 million in China, which is really good. So another 40 million to this movie could be really key. So
it could make it or break it, honestly.
Yeah. So we're gonna watch the China release, Joe, because I think that's super important for this film. But besides that, there hasn't been the only other thing which I thought was funny was there was an alternate post-credit scene shot for Black Adam teasing Dr. Fate. It would have shown Dr. Fate's helmet on the ground, and a mystery person reaches down to pick up Fate's helmet before cutting to black.
I know Clay in the chat made it sound like, it wouldn't have made sense if it was still in Kahndaq and this happened. I don't think it would have happened there. I honestly think it would have been the helmet disappears and it's somewhere else.
Yes, like it could be personally, I wouldn't like it underground. I'd rather someone discover it like underground, like digging it up, or it just at a place where a relic stays. Like it
I
goes
mean, it
back to
would have
that
been
place every time.
and honestly, the next one in line to get it is, according to the comic books, Khalid, who is a relative of Kent Nelson. So
Yeah,
now I know the movie does its own thing. They obviously didn't have to bring in a relative, but it's almost I'm almost positive that Khalid will show up with the helmet in a future film.
I would love for that to be the case, Joe. I want to see more Doctor Fate. I would love
Mhm.
to see a
Plus, it'd be Doctor
film.
Fate in training.
Yeah, I would love to see a film, or even I would really hope that not even you don't have to give me an old film if you do this, which is have Kent Nelson's soul stay in the helmet, so that when Klee puts it on, he can have discussions with Pierce Brosnan's Kent Nelson.
And that, I mean,
That keeps it
that's not
around.
bad. Yeah,
That
and
keeps it
it's
around, and that gives
heck.
him as the person to like steward you into this without having to like cast someone else that would understand Doctor Fate's helmet. So you have him with 100 years of knowledge, and he's just inside the helmet, kind of like a Jor-El as on the ship for Man of Steel. Just
Well,
have him
that
at
or a Vision
yeah,
for Tony for however many years. You know, Paul. Oh crap! What's the last name? What's Vision's name?
Bentley.
Paul Bettany. Thank you.
Yeah,
Whew. That sorry. Like for the first two phases, he came in to just record his voice in like a bathrobe and slippers.
and all the game says if not of getting released in China like all the other Phase 4 movies, which it's China's
That's
standards
so
and
yeah.
practices are,
Well,
are absolutely insane. I will say
yeah.
that. I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense. Uh, well, you dive into it, makes sense. Communist country, but
We're
yeah,
not talking politics here.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. Good call there, Joe. But yeah, so there's not much new in the Black Adam front. I think it's a little bit of a disappointing box office, if you ask me, and is only going to get one more week. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. If you told me that it wasn't going to finish number one for the 3 weeks before,
Yeah, I'll be surprised if it doesn't finish one next week or this coming weekend. If it doesn't, I'm like, is Ticket to Paradise going to be out? Like,
World's Biggest Geek, we're DC Alliance. Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time.
but we were talking, Kang the Conqueror is going to destroy Black Adam.
We're going to say, I will answer this. How do you feel that the new main threat is going to be Kang the Conqueror? Love it.
I mean,
Love it.
He may, well, no, yeah, duh.
Kang.
Do the whole Secret Wars and Kang.
Come on.
Yes,
Honestly,
of course he's going to be the main conqueror. Look, it's been a long week. Okay.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. My last week never really ended. The whole entire weekend I was busy. Like I had 7 hours of work taking care of leaves on Saturday, and then Sunday was just. I think I had 2 hours in between some working here and other stuff at night that I actually got to do things. I had a breather, so my head's not in the right place.
World's Biggest Geek, I will say the Creed trailer, the new Creed trailer, made me more scared for the Avengers than the Ant-Man Quantum and the Ant-Man 3 trailer.
Really?
I will say that.
I mean,
you see Jonathan Majors in that. I'm like, yeah, I don't want any part of that, dude. Like, how are you when this Michael B. Jordan? I don't. This is almost like Rocky versus Apollo Creed, not Apollo Creed, Rocky versus Drago levels of outrageousness.
I don't know. Maybe he won't win it. Like I haven't seen any of the Creed movies.
They're better, arguably better than the Rocky movies, in my opinion.
That's what I've heard. I need to watch them.
They're insane, Joe. They're really good. I can't wait for you to see, especially the second one. I was shocked about how well they went back and forth there. Okay, let's go switch gears to some sad news, I guess. Some news that we kind of thought was going to happen. Stargirl gets the axe. It's not having anything after season 3. Going in accordance with Batwoman was canceled. Black Lightning ended. Flash is ending in a little bit. Superman Lois is literally the only show right now. Well, sorry, Gotham Knights is coming in at some point this year. They only have 11 episodes. Like that's no chance of that surviving.
I don't know. Honestly, that would be the one that makes like 5 seasons.
You could, you know what?
It's a Batman related show.
Gotham got 5 seasons, so I'm not going to underestimate that at all. So, Joe,
it won't have Batman in it. So,
What do you think about this news that it's not getting any more after
Uh,
a third season?
it's not surprising this season. While like today's episode, I mean, because I know that we're basically going to be talking about this and the episode. I did enjoy this episode. It had a lot of Easter eggs in it, but the season overall has just been kind of meh.
Yeah.
Anyway, um,
It's
eh,
bad when they when you take the characters completely, couple of the characters completely outside of the plot, and you're not wishing to get back to that. You're more like, this is the most fun part of the season. So,
yeah,
which
and
the
I mean,
first
this
season
could
was amazing too. I love the
first
first
season
season.
was great.
Yes.
Like it because it's her trying to balance this new superhero persona while being at school and figuring out that majority of the people in power are the enemies. Like it just first season was amazing. Second season, there were some hiccups.
Yeah.
This season, eh,
There's some stuff I really love about this, including
this
Star.
like
On the game,
Cameron has been great, but
we're going to
you
jump
know,
back to this in a quick second. Don't
yes,
you say Cameron anymore? You've ruined
nope,
that name
too
for me. I
bad.
can't. I can't. The poor guy at the grocery
There
store.
was
I can't even. He's there like all the time. I'm just like, dude, if you only knew Cameron. But World's Biggest Geek says if they could have only continued her for a season 4, and I would have liked to see Spectre, Sandman, Doctor Fate. Is if we've only could have seen the rest of them and Hackman, Hackgirl. I agree with you, World's Biggest Geek. There's so much that was left on the table. There was hints that we dropped here about Sandman in this universe that was thrown out there at the end of this
this latest
episode.
episode, yeah.
Latest episode that would have been so cool to see. There also
Which we know, like the season's not over yet. We still have what about 5 episodes? It's totally possible we could get maybe 1 or 2 more cameos.
also if you support this show pretty hard, get your campaigns up. Like we've seen that right now, the CW, the new CW that's controlled by Nexstar, is passing on this show. They have
Yeah,
given up on this show. That doesn't mean this show. No one's allowed to try to make this show. The people who make this show can try and bring this to other networks, can bring this to other services, like for example, Lucifer. It went
yep.
from
Lucifer got 2
Fox.
more seasons on
2 more
Netflix.
seasons on Netflix.
I
So I
mean,
will
this
say, don't rule any of this stuff out for going. Especially Netflix had a huge deal with the CW for these shows, not Stargirl specifically, but it was for Arrow, Flash, Black
I feel
Lightning,
like HBO
Legend.
Max, I think, might have a deal with Stargirl. So if anything, that'd be a good spot for
Yes,
it
as
to
well.
find a home in the future.
And maybe that could go a long way to repair some of the damage in terms of representation that's
Plus,
been thrown
if
at you with this,
yes,
because this show is
definitely.
this represents everybody. I love this show for that.
Plus, if this, I mean, we did see the picture of what's his name from Beast Boy from Titans and Stargirl together.
Yeah.
The possibility of them having a crossover could lead credence to them maybe in the future getting a home on HBO Max.
Yes.
So who knows?
Don't rule that.
Anything is possible.
And on the game says, "Will Superman Lois last much time?" That
2 more
has my.
seasons.
I'm worried. That has me up, my apprehension up completely on the game, because I don't want to lose Superman Lois. Even as we have Cavill's announcement, I think that. Apologies to Derpy, because I know he doesn't like to have different shows existing at the same time in
Oh, he must
universes
be a
like
fan
that.
of WB.
But
I'm
I
kidding,
really
Derpy.
enjoyed the Superman and Lois TV show. I think that hits on a lot of the great stuff with Superman, and especially his family element. So I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid though that the show's quality is going to suffer out in the game, being on this next Star network with all the cuts, with like how bottom of the barrel they're going. I don't know if they're going to be very well. You could be getting a like Superman 4 type
What?
effort here.
Ooh.
So yeah,
And
I'm nervous about that. I'm nervous about that with this company taking over, but this is their bread
and
and butter.
we got what's his name leaving, and I'm getting a new son, Justin. No, I have no idea. I've only watched
Yeah,
one episode,
the
so
one of the
like
brothers, Jonathan, is completely newly cast,
yeah.
and on the game
So
says,
that could
so at the
be who
moment.
knows.
On the game says at the moment, Peacemaker is the only DCU show. Which other ones do you realistically want to see? There's a couple coming. There's
I
one
mean,
Amanda Waller
the
show
Waller one's
coming.
coming. That should be fun.
I'd like to
Let's see.
see a potential.
Take the
Ooh,
Trench movie that was supposed to allegedly be coming out and make that into like a little mini series.
or revive the Swamp Thing show that was on the DC
Yes,
universe and tie that into the more,
100%.
because that was a TV quality show. That's what sucked this part of the show's budget and killed part of the show was how much they like put into everything like that. So I would love to see them continue on with that, or give me some of those
Dude,
Justice League Dark characters that and put them in DCU shows and give me a Justice League Dark movie after that. Do it
yeah,
the reverse. Give us a
Swamp
few of
Thing
these.
had Madame Xanadu. It had Blue Devil.
Yes,
Like
and like Swamp Thing looked
he looked
incredible,
amazing.
incredible. It was like
Like
blow my
that
mind.
show
So
was so great. Ended too soon.
way too bold of ambitions for DCU starting off, but it
Yeah,
was great.
which
Uh,
is funny because Titans is still going.
True, true. World's Biggest Geek says Henry deserves another chance, and hopefully soon down the line, the Justice League will get a second chance as well. We
Agreed.
agree with that. I
Yep.
can't wait to see him next. And he said he's ready to play a hopeful, energetic, optimistic Superman, and that's where the progression of the character was going. And I could not be more excited for that.
Yep.
On the game says a special one-off special presentation for each Justice League character. That will
Not Marvel.
we don't need to do a one-off.
Yes.
Well, you
Like,
could do those as films, as one
you
hour,
definitely
like
could.
1
Like little
hour.
70-minute films. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like perfect. Like
True.
I would love that.
I got to say, a lot of things are on the board now with Gunn running things.
I can see. So with all this happening, I can definitely see by the end of the year us getting more of a game plan going forward. Like they actually release their thoughts of like their 10-year plan that Zaslav wants.
Yeah,
Like I could see that maybe getting released to the public by the end of the year.
if I'm Gunn,
something along with it.
if I'm Gunn, I'm only putting out 4-year plan.
But yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Because you only got 4-year
I'm
contract.
gonna have the other 6 years blacked out and say, yeah, these 6 years, that's when I get more money. That's when you extend my contract to. But
no, but you're not wrong. That's a good idea. Like that's a smart idea on his part to be like, all right, well, I can plan out these next 4 years. After that, we're having to renegotiate the contract.
Also, World's Biggest Geek, don't fret because there were in the first scripts of this movie, Stargirl was part of the JSA. Like there was like
what?
She was one of the characters but they decided against it with her show being out, like with her being like the main character show like that. They decided against that. The old thinking, obviously, but
yeah, you remember back in the day when when Ezra Miller got announced as being the Flash, and
Stephen Amell
was like, why can't Grant Gustin be the Flash? Like he's already doing a wonderful job here.
You only been doing it for 2 weeks, and then you announced that taking his thunder away. I'm like,
could have been, but they're trying to separate the show from the movies, my dude.
Yeah,
2 separate universes.
Because you get those problems of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where you're hoping and expecting the
right there
big characters to come, and they never do.
And the
movie characters, not the big. Like we got a fantastic Ghost Rider too. Ghost Rider, was probably the best.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a perfect example because that was ambitious. They promised a thing and then they couldn't deliver. Yeah. Versus now, where we have the Phase 4 movies or Phase 4 TV shows on Disney Plus, that's connected to the movies, to that universe, and everything's great. And we've got Peacemaker here. Yep,
did the exact same thing. We
got to the universe.
We got Waller. We got Harcourt, who we saw in other movies. We got Aquaman, Flash, and then now we can actually say technically it was Henry's Superman. It wasn't Henry, but it was wearing a suit and he's back. So I'm going with an appearance for Superman.
Fair. Whatever. Oh, so his contract's done. Gotcha. Yeah. Anyway,
more money. That's how it was. That's exactly. How you know shit. But yeah, so it's sad, but they also knew. I'm going to read just a couple statements before we get into the episode, and it's from Brie Bassinger. Talking about getting to play Stargirl. Getting to play Stargirl and be a part of DC Universe has been the greatest honor, and I'm so grateful for every moment of it. I would like to thank our fearless leader, Jeff Johns, along with WB-TV, the CW, the cast and crew of Stargirl, and of course the fans. Thank you. The show will forever live in my heart. And Jeff Johns says, Stargirl has always held a special place in my heart for many reasons. With all the brewing changes at the network, we were aware this was a possibility the last season. So we wrote with that in mind and have delivered what I believe to be the best season of Stargirl yet, with complete creative closure. This cast and crew are extraordinary, and I'd like to thank them for helping me bring this series to life. Breck embodied Courtney in every way possible with grace, strength, and humor, exceeding my wildest expectations. I'm grateful to WBTV and the CW for giving us a home to tell this story and to honor my beloved late sister. And I'm beyond thankful to the press and fans who have always championed us for 3 amazing seasons. Most series never get this far. We couldn't be more proud of the show and the fan community it's built.
There's a few different shows on Netflix that got 1 or 2, and a handful that got 3 seasons. You know, so the fact that this got 3 seasons on network television, yeah, you can't scoff at that.
Agreed, Joe. It's it's sad when these go, but at least they had a little bit of a heads up. It wasn't more so the legend / Batwoman type thing where they didn't know
Yeah,
that
so
the
it
face is
sounds
coming.
like they're able to write an actual ending,
Yes,
and
which
not
is
leave it
nice.
open.
And like I said to listeners, if you're a big fan of this show, support it, tweet about it, get with more people that want to keep this going. Show Netflix, show Amazon, show somewhere that there's a fan base for this, and you will get it, a la the Lucifer crowd. If you want my opinion on that.
Yeah.
Joe, before we get into the episode, let's take our second ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, let's get into the episode. Season 3, Episode 8, Infinity Inc. Part 2. And we just conclude on what we were watching last episode. What do you think of this episode, Joe?
A lot of fun. Very interesting. Let's see. Both Mike and what's the mom's name? Can't remember
On
the
the
mom's name.
game for the Black Adam discussion said Japanese bank Nomura puts the number of Chinese under restricted rank 232 million, up from 225 million from last week. Some 31 cities they're under some form of lockdown. Chinese year-to-date box office is down 34%. Yeah, so you might have to wait till further in the year, and that is some stark numbers and rough like how this is breaking out for Black Adam like that. But
yeah.
But
no. So I found it funny that Mike and Barbara are in there for one scene just to get a paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. In Dreamworld too.
Shadowland, yeah. So that, but seeing Courtney basically give Jenny the confidence to be like, look, you need to go help your brother. He needs you, which is what she's been doing from the get-go. And it's key to her character. I like the episode. I like both these episodes. Both these episodes were great. They were, like we had said earlier, they are taking away from the main thing that's going on. Also, not to say I told you so, but I told you so. That wasn't Mr. Bones watching them.
Yes, you told me so. I was thinking when they flashed to the double reveal. Is this Snake Dude again? So I don't know who the guy.
I think it might be Dragon King. I think
the
it
Dragon
might be
King. It very well could be, but
also could be somebody else.
She could be turning into Dragon King herself.
Exactly.
I don't know. He's that messed up in his experiments. But I enjoyed this episode, Joe. When you go out in the Shadowlands last season, it was really enjoyable as well. This was really good. I loved the partnership of Shade and Pat. I thought that was
I love Shade. Like, he has been since season 2.
Fantastic casting.
This whole season that he's been for 3 has just been great with him. Yeah, he's just been fun actor, fun character to play.
Just chewing up the scenes when he's there. And
I also say I don't know if you knew this, but they in the Helix building, foundation, all those characters they showed were actual characters from the comics. So they were part of the Helix team that Mr. Bones led in like the early Crisis on Infinite Earths timeline.
I do enjoy how she has an impact on a lot of people in this episode. Not only Jade, but also Mr. Bones.
Yeah, he rethinks his tactics.
It's literally the only person that doesn't have if it has much effect on is the knockoff Granny Goodness. There, she's
Nurse
just like,
Love.
yeah, Nurse Love doesn't want any part of this, which is always
I
funny.
love I love Pat when he's leaving. He's like, did you by chance teach 5th grade at X school, whatever?" And then she's like, "You're such a disappointment, Mister Dugan. That thought it was you," and
Yeah,
walked
yep,
off.
remembered you. World's Biggest Geek says the one character I was more excited was Jenny's brother of the
Yes,
time, which excellent character in DC. First time I saw him was in a Legends episode. Yes, World's Biggest Geek, which I loved that episode, but it was so frustrating getting JSA. You got him for a cup of coffee and they were done when they teased him at the first episode, like hard. So you kind of made it think they were going to be in the whole season. It was still cool to see them. They were fantastic looking, obviously, because I remember that as well. And the way he made everything go dark first thing. I love this about. I love the brother sister bond here. I hope we see these two characters come back for the finale to help them take on whatever the big bad is. Because I would love to see a little bit more from Jenny, from her
well, I could definitely see by the end
her
of the
wearing a
season,
suit and maybe
both
doing
of
a
them
couple
being.
constructs.
I don't know. Well, constructs maybe.
Yeah,
Suit probably not.
her and
Maybe she
him
will.
wearing their costumes would be really cool
It
because
would
you
be
get
cool, but I
there.
could definitely see him coming back and being, because of Shade's teachings, having better control of their powers.
Agreed. I would like to see her wearing more like the Alan Scott costume, like an homage to that, not like one of the Green Lantern glowing
Now,
power suits,
well,
but more like the
she never actually did a power suit either. Hers
no.
was like more One Piece swimsuit esque.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's
Uh,
more like homage of Alan Scott's than a One Piece like super suit
I
type
mean, I
deal.
definitely, well, in the modern times, it's been, just a tight skin suit head to toe. So they've gone away from the sexism of just the
Yeah.
skin tight suit.
Okay.
But like I could definitely see her having like a full suit.
Yeah.
Maybe not Alan Scott's, but I do like that thought of having it be a homage to his costume.
You could even have both of them do that.
Well,
You,
Obsidian has always been just dark.
yeah.
So I don't know if they could really do that
Maybe
with
they could
him.
take the fabric from their father's costume and make their
Maybe.
costumes out of it. I don't know, part of their costume. I just like the group there. I love that in the end they go off with Shade. Pat having a positive influence on Shade as well, telling him like you just can't just not do bad things anymore. To say like, oh, I'm gonna make amends. And I know you got to do good things as well. Like take on these kids, mentor them. You help kill their parent. Like even if you don't, you were complicit. And it's just a really enjoyable
Yeah.
thing to see here. Like Pat is a positive
Which
person here.
which is one of those interesting things because in the Shadowlands, he saw his dad, which was just picking on him, like not supporting him. And he even said, like Pat even said, it's like, yeah, no, I never hated my dad. This is stuff he said to me all the time,
Yeah, he
but I
said,
never once hated him.
I heard you say that. I heard him say this because Shade's like, it's not real. It's not. So
Like,
no,
oh no, every single word he said to me in real life.
which is tough, and it's a really great
Right?
moment at the end when him and Courtney are going back on the bus, and Pat doesn't want to talk about it yet because it makes
He needs
perfect sense. But Courtney also says no whenever you're ready to, and he says, yeah,
mhm.
okay.
Now
So
he needs to work through some things, which
yeah,
I get.
very easy to see with that. But we don't know anything more. We got a cool Mr. Bones. I love showing his powers of his cyanide touch, making
Hmm.
the
That was
die.
cool.
And he's going to start a team of his own after Courtney's had an effect on him of don't hide in the shadows. Like so,
I would love to see them by the end of the season, but I know we won't.
yeah, I agree. But I'm really excited to see what happens here at the end. Like I said, I hope Shade goes off with Jade and her brother, and Jenny. Sorry, Jenny and her brother.
I mean, it's Jades or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. So
that's a superhero name.
they're gone off, and Pat and Courtney are gone back, and we had no updates about what was going on. We showed a shadowy figure, but we didn't even get a look at him. So we still aren't 100% sure who the big bad is. Hopefully that's revealed in the next episode, Joe.
I think again, if 13 episodes, right?
Yep.
9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I guarantee it's gonna be revealed in the next one of the next two episodes.
The
Probably next one.
monsters and then the killer is chapter 10. So I think
Oh,
maybe the
definitely chapter
end.
10.
I think at the end of chapter 9 is a possibility of them finding out, and then we continuing on in chapter 10, showing
Definitely.
what
Yep. I can
happened.
see
So,
that. I can totally see that.
uh, World's Biggest Geek says the only one everyone's afraid of now is Cameron. Thinking he's
Cameron!
gonna, yeah, they're not even paying attention to the bit. Like they're not focusing on the most important thing. They're focusing on Cameron. Got you back, Joe. I love it. Well, we have a few episodes of Stargirl left. It's a little sad to see it be canceled like that. But Joe, we have a new show starting this week as well. Titans. We'll have 2 episodes of that
Yep.
starting at the end of the week. So
Oh, yeah, that is it 2 episodes?
2 episodes first drop,
Whew,
and it's
well.
over. It's over again the first week. I don't think it goes past the first week of December. There's only
Okay.
6 episodes in this first part, and then there's a
Well,
break.
I'm gonna have to figure out when I'm gonna be able to watch these now
Yeah.
because I'm not on the job I was on at work where I could watch stuff. Now I'm getting moved around because that person came back to work.
The good thing about Titans is you
So,
can do it over the weekend, so
yeah, because
it's
I have
not
totally have
as.
time on the weekends.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm just saying for someone who has to
I
watch
watch everything at work.
most of the time watching Stargirl day of recording.
I had to watch it today because I totally forgot about it last week,
That's what I
and I
do all
couldn't
the
watch it
time.
this weekend.
So. I
I
like watching.
tried to watch it at work today, but my job, like my phone was here, and my job is focusing here, so I'm like, crap.
Dang it, I can't do this. I like to watch it the day of just to be fresh on it, but that can get you trouble if you to carve out that time just before the show starts. And on the games, if Superman and Lois should be 13 episodes instead of 15, we always
Agreed.
say that's a sweet spot for these shows.
16 max anymore. Like,
Yeah,
you don't need to have 22. 22 is just
God.
out of the question.
I still think 13 is a perfect spot.
13 is great. 10 to 13 is perfect. But yeah, 16 max.
So, Joe, let's round up the news before we talk about our
I jumped the gun on this one.
The Penguin sets Christian Militani as female lead Sophia Falcone. She will play Sophia Falcone, daughter of Carmine Falcone, who was played by John Turturro. In the film, Sophia is fighting with the Penguin, Colin Farrell, for control of the city. One question, will she show up in the Penguin show?
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, will she show up, in the second Batman film?
Oh, gotcha.
Or will her arc be over by the end of this series?
So, I don't know.
Tough one, right?
That's a tough one. Considering that she showed up in the comics in Long Halloween and was gone by Dark Victory.
Yeah.
Things
not as...
So I could definitely see her not getting out of the Penguin show.
Especially with Penguin hopefully ending up taking control of everything by the end of that show.
Which set him up for the second Batman movie. Which by the way,
ties in.
Yeah, definitely. I did finally watch Batman Long Halloween, both parts, last week.
What'd you think?
Enjoyable. I really liked them.
Yes. The second part, the first part was a little bit rough for myself and Snell. We reviewed both parts.
It changed a lot.
But if you had the second part, if you watched both of them, I felt like you would have had a better, experience than watching one and then waiting for several months to get to watch the other one, and you're not sure because of the drastic changes in the first part what they're going to do for the second part. But I really thought they stuck landing in the second.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So now I have to watch. I think I gotta watch the Catwoman Hunted
and Beware Green Lantern. Beware my.
No, wait, I watched that with you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we covered that one.
Good.
I watched Catwoman and the Battle of Super Sons. So
yeah, Super Sons is you're going to really enjoy Super Sons.
But anyway, no. So back to the Penguin. Yeah, I don't think she'll make it out of Penguin.
Yeah, so cool. We don't know much more.
I'm looking forward. I don't know the actress. Like I do
know her from How I Met Your Mother. She was the mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the mother.
I never watched How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, so, she was the mother.
I'll be interested to see. I mean, bringing Sophia Falcone into life. She's got some giant shoes to fill. But I'm looking forward to it.
I hope that this means we maybe even get something with Catwoman. I hope Catwoman, because her and Catwoman technically
would be family.
Yeah. So I really hope that's addressed at some point. I don't know if it will, but I'm excited to see where they're going to go with this Penguin show, Joe. Really.
Yeah, definitely.
On the game talked about this, I think, way back at maybe his first comment, but to discuss it now, HBO Max was redeveloping their Green Lantern series that we talked about that was going to focus on Guy Gardner and Alan Scott,
Yes.
and now it's going to focus on Jon Stewart. And the writer Seth Graham-Smith has departed the project, so this is back to square one right now.
I don't have a Green Lantern background. Damn.
I'm super excited. Jon Stewart is my Green Lantern. He's the one that I knew from the animated show. He got me into the Green Lantern character. So
yeah, Hal was mine. Hal was the one when I was reading comics, he was the first one that popped up for me. It was Hal, and then, Hal, and then Kyle. So yeah. I didn't know John until the cartoon, but I had been reading comics for about a decade before the cartoon came out.
Kyle was the first Green Lantern I saw on Superman the Animated Series.
Okay.
And then I think it was Kyle. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. And then Jon Stewart was in Justice League the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited, and he was fantastic. So I'm excited about this. This is back.
Should be great.
Back square one. We talked about this when this started, so this is still going to develop in hell. Hopefully, this gets back going now with James Gunn there. Green Lantern is a trove of space characters that you can get into. So I hope so.
Yeah.
Like on the game says, an entire generation
exactly.
grew up in the cartoons. Exactly. So
yeah,
it would be smart.
And that was their Green Lantern. Jon Stewart was their Green Lantern.
And final piece of news, Joe, Arkham Asylum series, Matt Reeves is producing at HBO Max has found a new showrunner, writer in the Staircases, Antonio Campos. So they've reworked that a little bit. That was supposed to be the Gotham PD show. So I'm really excited to see this. I hope we get inner workings of Arkham. I don't know if we're going to see villains or not.
I could see us seeing villains, just it won't be Joker.
Top tier. Yeah. I would like to see even Matt Reeves take on some C and D tier Batman villains as well.
Yeah.
And
totally.
World's Biggest Geek said the one I would like to see is if Matt Reeves could continue the Arkham Asylum show and bring the forgotten villains and new villains as well.
And I guarantee that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
This show will be a stepping stone for these characters to show up in the Batman movies. They may not be major characters.
No, you can have like a 10-minute thing where Batman takes out one of these
rounding
villains.
Up. He's rounding, say, for example, end of Arkham Asylum show, all the characters break out, all of the villains break out, and then the first half hour is him rounding up stray villains.
We could even have him rounding up one and him bringing back, and there's like, this is the seventh one you caught this week, and showing him into the jail.
I definitely think it's going to be a stepping stone.
Thank you all in the game for that. The Staircase was good. Tony Collette and Colin Firth are great at it. But if you give me positive reviews about it, I like that. That's just another person. Good for him. I'm just excited about this, Joe. Like, I want the Matt Reeves universe to continue. One thing we didn't talk about with the Gunn and Safran is rumored right now that Reeves stuff and the Joker stuff is going to be outside his peer review. Right now, it's going to be DeLuca and Abdi. Not sure if that's 100% with the Batman stuff. I know it's 100% with the Joker stuff. So,
which fine if he's kind of needs to focus on getting the DCU.
They're still going to talk. Like, they'll keep in communication, but
of course,
yeah.
But they're gonna stay separate. Like, Batman's gonna stay over here, or the Matt Reeves Batman's over here, Phillips Joker's over here, DCU here.
Think DCU as Earth Prime and think of these other two as two different other Earths, because it's multiverse. So, and maybe one day we'll build to a time where all these things can coexist. But really excited about the possibilities for this Arkham Asylum show. So it's going to be a lot of speculation about what we could potentially see. We'll just wait until
when's this supposed to come out? When do we have?
I have no idea, Joe. I just know that the Penguin's starting filming soon.
Okay.
Which that means maybe we get it by the end of the year, depending on how much. I just excited that Matt Reeves is going to have movies and TV shows and tie them together, because that's what I love about the MCU's Phase 4. Do it here as well. I'm all in.
Yep.
Joe, we have a final thing to talk about tonight before we get out of here. Our Smallville retro recaps.
Yeah.
The episode 16, Stray. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the people at Hackville. I enjoyed it, but
I remember this episode when it came out. Like, as soon as I started watching it, which is Could be probably my answer for every single episode. It was one of those like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. I remember this kid. I remember what's going on. I remember the what he's doing. It was fun. I did enjoy it.
Same,
But
but I didn't. I just didn't think it was as strong as some of the other episodes. I thought it was stronger in my memory. It was than what I watched it. There was
well,
some things here that was.
and maybe I'm confusing it because Ryan comes back next season. Maybe I'm confusing it with that, but it's also been 20 years since I watched the show, and these episodes in particular.
Yes, on the game when we were talking about
Yes.
that, he says these movies shows should have DC Black labels, DC Studio title cards. Yes, and maybe you have a different intro for them. You don't have to have them the same intro for all the films. You could have DCEU have a different intro than the Black label than the other things.
Well, like, doesn't the special presentation on Marvel have just special presentation? They don't have the Marvel logo, or am I wrong?
I haven't watched the most recent special presentation yet, so I'm not 100% sure. I think Werewolf by Night had the.
Do they have the Marvel?
I think so.
Fanfare. Okay, you know what? It's been a minute. It's whatever. Yeah. We're DC. We get stuff talking about Marvel.
Yeah. So yeah, episode 16 Stray.
Here, one thing I did like on Talkville, and Tom talking about this and how he had no recollection whatsoever of filming this episode.
Yeah, and he didn't know the boy, and I love how
at all. And they had
Rosenbaum basically caught him like, I thought he was great. Like I remember the kid like with the comics, and I did like the Warrior Angel comics. I thought that was cool. I love that he comes back in the second season as well. I remember that when he's in trouble, Clark immediately goes to help him.
Yeah,
exactly. But I did enjoy this episode. I just didn't think it was as strong as some of the other ones. The guy with the shotgun was outrageous. The stepdad, like he murdered 3 people with zero hesitation. But one thing I want to talk about is the suspension of disbelief. When Lex is thrown out of the limo, Clark comes out of nowhere to check on him. And Lex is supposed to be the super intelligent man, and Clark turns around to go get help, and Lex doesn't even look back, and Clark super speeds off, and he's gone.
Especially vehicles are loud. You can hear a vehicle coming up to you, and when Clark shows up and you don't hear a vehicle, and then he leaves and you don't hear a vehicle, yeah, he totally should have noticed something.
Yeah,
Mr. Freeze. Look, hold on now. Arnold was a wonderful Mr. Freeze.
Okay,
but no, he does need a second chance. He needs a more realistic chance.
Agreed.
100% on that one.
We've been asking for that for a while here.
I've been asking for Clayface and Mad Hatter.
Clayface is another one.
I've been saying that for years.
Clayface is another one high on my list.
Yes. But no, like this, I think even Michael talked about it in Talkville. He's like, yeah, I made sure, like I told the directors, like, I can't look back. Like, if I look back, it's just going to add to Lex's, like, what the hell's going on here? Like,
I have to be more concerned about my injuries.
Stay here, focused on my own pain. I cannot look back.
And Joe, like, one of the things I really did like about this was, like, we got to see Clark as a big brother. And he seemed to really take into that role. Him and Ryan had instant, like, connection. So that's like, I'll save you kind of thing. I got your back. And it was just a wholesome, fun ride like that.
Great. Like I said, they had great chemistry that Tom doesn't remember.
Tom doesn't remember. In his defense, he's done 200 episodes.
Well, no, but he would talk about
a bit of a dick from a few of those seasons, apparently.
But he was talking about it in the episode that by that time, episode 16, he had kind of hit a wall. Like, he had just been going for 15 episodes. That by the time they're doing this one, he's just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and he has to drive to work. This is still not having the
driver
yet.
I think he had a driver at this point.
They talked about getting him a driver. I don't know if they got him a driver yet, or was it later down this season? Sometime in season 1.
It might be. Well, no.
It could have been before the start of season 2. I know that John Snyder talked about it, and when he was interviewed on his part, that he went to the producers and said,
they never did say when they did that, did they?
I think they probably will get into that at some point. But like I said, it was enjoyable. There was some outrageous things. The bowling ball through the thing, I thought that was a really good effect for the time.
That was, yeah.
For the time, I thought that was a good effect.
He quote unquote survived was interesting.
Yeah,
like I swore that he threw it and it popped him in the head and like knocked him out. But no,
to me it looked like him in his chest. But even that
definitely crushed a bunch of ribs into his lungs.
He doesn't have any lungs.
Fine.
So yeah, he's fine. These guys are fine. These guys are fine. I had to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this, like I said, it wasn't as enjoyable. There's some really good episodes coming up here now.
So one thing they talked about in this episode, Ryan had mentioned to Clark that Chloe wanted him to ask her to prom. So prom's getting brought up. One thing I remember, season finale is prom with the tornado coming in and wrecking everything. So like they're already seeding it now. They've got 5 episodes left of the season, 5 or 6 episodes. So
Crazy,
like
dude.
We're almost done.
6 episodes left this season.
I'm curious if they're going to take like a break between season 1 and 2, or if they're just going to jump right into it. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out obviously when we get close to the end of the season, but I don't know. I'm just wondering.
Like I said, this was a fun episode, but I don't know if it was as good as some of the other ones that I really enjoyed.
We've got some good ones coming up too, though. So
even I think more about the Nicodemus one was that Joe Morton was returning character. I think that's why I really enjoyed that one. So maybe when Ryan comes back, the fact that we had him in the first season, I'll really enjoy that. But I implore people to go check out Talkville as well, because they had the director of this episode on.
Yeah,
I think
well, he was director on, like, what did he say? A good
showrunner
and became showrunner, I think, by season 2.
Yeah, he took over several episodes. Apparently, he came in for the Hothead episode.
Yep,
Greg Walker, and was around for a lot after that. And I think he did the story by Greg Walker. He did the story for the 20th episode as well. So
he's hit or miss in season 1. And then both Tom and Mike were saying
Greg Beeman.
Both Tom and Mike were saying that when there was a Beeman episode, they knew it was going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, he does the finale. So,
that's a good episode.
Super excited to check that out, Joe. Listeners, thank you so much for sticking with us this long. We'll be back next week with some more DC. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some new movies announced by then, Joe.
Yeah, and Derpy, again, send us your thoughts on the breakdowns. We will definitely get into those. If you send it to us by next week, we'll get into it.
Definitely, we will talk about them. I'm really interested to see what you
exactly
think. And maybe we'll give our thoughts on what they should do for a first wave of movies.
Yeah, we totally do that.
Yeah. So, Joe, it's been fun.
Yes,
I'll see you next week, my friend.
Have a good one.
Later, everyone.